All right, Destined Rivals is still going crazy. So demand pretty much doubles again. So 27 sold today, and no, the normal amount is like probably around here around 13. Like there's some spikes over here. Like earlier we were around like the 20, and we kind of dropped to about 13 or less, even sometimes 6, starting around August 20th. So it's been about um, 2.5 weeks, and we saw a spike over here at 19 sold, today 27 sold, and what do you see? So the price hasn't really changed, at least supposedly. But if you look at this, like I told you yesterday, I was like, it seems like the price that people want price as at 350, and now I'm changing that in one day to 355, 360. So there's only two boxes left at 342. No big supply or anything, just one box from two sellers, and it goes 355, and like 360 is like around here. 357, 358 is around here. So this is this is going crazy. All these sellers have only one box up until here. So RJ Breaks comes back and they're selling at 360, but RJ Breaks has been trying to undercut a lot of people, put a lot of supply, but even they keep raising the price. That says something. It shows that like even they're like, we can't just sell this for cheap. Like we have to keep raising the price because it's going up. So yeah, that's some rivals. It's just still going. I really don't know. Like we really could hit $400 a box at this rate. And then cases are still obviously selling. I told you this before. Cases are around the same price as booster boxes. Actually, right now, cases are cheaper than booster boxes. I think. At least if you account for the 355 price. So at the 342 price, there's only two boxes. But after that, like these cases are still cheaper at 345 per booster box, and people are buying them. And I told you guys yesterday, people are targeting the booster boxes and maybe PCTB. They're not targeting the bundles and the normal ATB as much. So those demand kind of dropped for those. I'll look at the numbers. But yeah, three cases sold today. See a case selling every day, and yeah, you see like the case demand was good up until like August 6th. Then it started dropping in August, and now it's starting to rise back again. And you're seeing only two cases left, and it's going towards 2100, maybe even more. Um, if we see a buyout goes to 2200, that'd be pretty crazy. Um, and PCTP is going to 302. You see it's been selling about 4 yesterday, 4 today. Demand's picked up slightly, nothing too crazy. But I do think that people will make a run toward this a little bit. It'll go 315, 320. It just hasn't really moved much lately. And so I think it's starting to rise soon. And the ETBs, yeah, demand is still kind of steady actually. So it's dropping, it's going back to steady. There's not as much reason for these to rise until the pack price rises, but I think people really are buying Desperados a lot for the investability, not necessarily open. Because like, why else would you see like spikes in booster box demand? The bundles are a good example of that. The bundles are just, if you want like 36 packs of Destined Rivals to open, just buy 6 bundles. It'll get cheaper. But no, like bundle demand is actually kind of dropping, despite it being the cheapest option at around 816 per pack. Like you're paying like $1.25 more per pack. Like what the? All right, for 151, you're seeing demand start to rise for ETB. So you see the PCTP over here still 950, but 5 sold yesterday. And yeah, I'm just always looking forward to when it finally reaches $1,000. Right now, there's three cheaper ETBs for about 950. They go straight to 995. We're always sort of in this realm where demand is still pretty good, selling like pretty much every day. And then we have this buyout of 5. Um, yes, people bought some of the cheaper ones. Some of the more expensive ones are here, and yeah, so this is still doing well. ETB demand is still pretty solid. I'm seeing ETBs be very popular for Crown Zenith, Paldean Fates, and 151, and these are like some of the best sets, especially sets. And I'm starting to see where we're having a lot of solid demand for this late August, maybe like a week to 2 weeks. So I think a lot of people are starting to go after the especially set ETBs to some extent, and yeah, this is going toward. I think this is a little cheaper than normal 390. It's going back to about 415. Here's 426. Here's 440. So I think this is possibly on the rise as well. But all the space keep dropping. See us with Paldean Fates as well, where it just ever since that big bundle rise, we haven't really seen any sales. There's a really cheap one over here for about 13.65. There's two. At that point, it's about $22 a pack, and there's just gonna be some sort of. These will definitely be bought when the price gets low enough, and when people think the bundles are gonna go up enough to be similarly priced to bundle displays. I'm not exactly sure when that will be. It'll probably be bought a little before people who have a little more foresight, but right now the price per pack isn't quite close enough for people to buy it. Um, these might be bought tomorrow though. This might be low enough, but we'll kind of see. But yeah, these are down 130 after they already dropped by like $200 other day. So it's like a $330 drop in 2 days. Maintenance phase are up 18. I already mentioned ETBs, but they're up 42. UPCs are up 3. Bundles are up $1. And binders next. Binders, nothing too interesting. Just gonna skip that, or yeah, nothing really too active for that. For these posters, they sold 21 yesterday or today, so demand rose release a little bit. Price is still about the same, but someone just bought a bunch of posters for some reason. I don't know if it's necessarily the best buy, but yeah, eventually people will target these as the price per pack gets better. Price per pack posters is about 12.50, a little better than a little worse than Blooming Waters, better than loose packs, but yeah, why didn't you just buy Blooming Waters? It could be a space thing. Though like I don't know, I'd have to really calculate that. I think Blooming Waters might be bigger. It's 12 packs, but they're still pretty bad, the poster collections. For loose packs, they sold about 155 packs yesterday. Pack price is kind of dropping a little bit. So on the previous page, I think there's like 10 or so packs for about $12. You see 12.50 here for about 50 packs. You go straight to $13 pretty soon, but you see some weakness in packs. UPCs, they are still selling like every day. Been selling like 2 per day recently, and they're still heading just below 600. Haven't quite been able to break that. Where's booster bundles? Okay. Booster bundles have been selling still pretty decently around 30 to 40, and yeah, I don't think the price is going down. The minimum is like $90. It's going to 95. That's just how it is. The only reason it's not more is because of all the reprints. What can I tell you? Mates displays, yeah, they're back up to 300. Someone, I don't, I guess someone delisted it, the box that was cheaper yesterday, but it's pretty now is solidly around $300. Blooming Waters demand is still pretty good at around 12 or 13. There really is a potential to go to like 145. This is like 147 over here. It doesn't always do that, so I'm kind of just waiting for it. Honestly, part of the reason why Blooming Waters is still quote unquote so cheap is because people aren't buying from so many smaller sellers, and they have a minimum price. Like otherwise, you see like a lot of these sellers only have like one, and they're smaller sellers, so people might avoid them. Otherwise, you see like, even down here is 150. So Blooming Waters is a lot more valuable than you think it is. And then I think the Snorlax promo is over here, which I forgot to open, but the Snorlax promo is still pretty expensive. And so near mint, let's see, it's only 137 yesterday, so yeah, this is still selling really, really well. Yeah, people are buying this up. If it's the same person, it's impressive, but honestly, like, I think this might really just be a good buy at this point. I'm not really expert on singles, but the demand for this has been really, really good. Alright, Paldean Fates, you see some price rises, so bundles are going back up. As expected, I said that they're definitely going back up. 101's too cheap, so they're back up 105, up $3. ETBs are also rising. Yeah, they're up back to about 274, up $17. PCTBs are also rising back 510. Still really cheap. I think there's only one left. $25. A little surprised that not all of them were sold. Normally it was going toward 575, 600. ETBs, I think this actually might be a new high at so 270. I mentioned before how like the ETB and PCTB should be some distance away. That's reasonable. And bundle displays keep dropping down $45. Let's just look at this. So yeah, booster bundles still only about 87, so still less than 100. 21 sold yesterday. There's still enough being sold, and yeah, I still see 110 right here. Not a bunch, only like 10 until 110. So and I even see 150 at the bottom. So really, really good. Packs haven't really been selling. So 0 sold yesterday, 1 sold today. These are still correcting a little bit. They're still about $16 at $5.90 now, $15.90 now. ETBs, really good demand, really solid demand. Even more solid demand at the beginning of the month, and this is when the price is actually rising. So it's actually pretty impressive. I mean, that's part of the reason why the price is rising. Yeah, people want to get into Paldean Fates PC. Normally to be the price per pack for these is $30. That's pretty steep, I guess. But yeah, there is a really pretty ETB. 5 sold yesterday, 4 sold today, and we're heading back toward 300. And then PC TBs, they had 3 sold yesterday. Some of the cheaper ones were listed for some reason after having no sales for quite a while. But otherwise, after this one sells at 510, it goes back to 560, 575. So still doing pretty good. And these bundle displays haven't been selling. So this is also happening with 151 bundle displays. But ever since that bundle display sort of thing, prices have been rising. I guess initially, at about $800. When they were about 800 and 900, it was definitely a prediction that like the normal loose bundles would go up because if you had bought the bundle displays at that price, and bundles are like $100 now, these would have still been a deal. So that buyout for Paldean Fates bundles at about like 900 to like where's the jump? Yeah, over here. Still a really good buy. Still $14, $15 a pack. Still cheaper than even loose packs. But now at this price points, yeah, it might go down a little bit to just I don't know. It'll definitely see a recovery eventually. I'm just not exactly sure when. But right now, yeah, there's just one seller selling over here, but and then a lot of them are around 1600. All right, Prismatic, you're still seeing ETB demand rise for cases. So you see cases still being sold, selling about like 2 to 3 per day. Some days one, but still selling consecutively. These are seeming to be a good buy because the ATVs still are around like above $100. So people are buying these up at 1280. I think eventually there will be a shift, but now like they're pretty easy to get. People are buying them up for yeah. If we go normally ATVs are at 105 now. They've just been maintaining the price really well. Demand went down a little bit to 25. But you still see like the daily average is like you see 41 sold, which is pretty insane. And there's only this seller for 105, and these are heading toward 110, and that's really crazy. And I think honestly, it's kind of a buy if you want to buy Prismatic. I don't know how many if the ATVs will be cheaper again. I don't know how much they'll reprint them because they're kind of in the Tarantula cargo box. And thank you for the commenter who told me that this number is off. Like I just figured that they cheaped out again on packs because they made Bloom Wars 12. But yeah, they went back to 14, and now this finally makes more sense. I was like, why is this so expensive? And yeah, this is what the normal behavior. You're seeing 850 per pack for the Lucario box, so even cheaper in loose packs. So this is a common behavior, and you just see the separation between ETBs and the loose packs from the Lucario box, and it's like very different. And sometimes you can get a good deal on like it's honestly like in the future like this difference will just go even larger. Like the Lucario boxes will be like valued more, and then they'll go up and down constantly. But ECBs like they'll stop printing some of these more things out. Like Super Premium is like really hard to find. Super Premium is up $29. ETBs and bundles are technically down $2. Bundles, I feel like I like bundles. ETBs will probably be worth a little more, especially if you get a similar price per pack from people. Because bundles don't necessarily rise until like you get to the very end. So you might be holding your bundles for a while and won't have a lot of appreciation. Versus the ETBs will probably rise a little more. PCTBs are down 15. Also something else that people might want to pick up. But yeah, bundles have been pretty consistent in like the 50s to 60s. Still, you see higher bundle demand. People are buying up the bundles, and honestly, even if it stays around $60, it's really not that bad. It's just better opportunity to get cheap bundles. Because like these, like in the future, you're gonna be like you might wish you bought bundles because in the future people are gonna have a lot of Lucario boxes and they're gonna want to trade these because these are tiny. So those Lucario boxes are huge. And try to do deals with those. Like if you do deals with those are so hard to carry sometimes, and then you have to like break them down and stuff. Bundles you can just throw away and not think about them forever. For SPCs, so yeah, still seeing about 10 sold per day, and 251s over here. Still seeing them like go toward 260. I think people will start buying these up to some extent, and then PCTBs they dropped. 11 were sold yesterday, so a bunch of PCTBs were sold yesterday. Still, there's just one seller who's pretty cheap. Otherwise, you're going down to 350. And we're starting to break 350, go to 360. So yeah, these are also starting to see rises. It's just pretty predictable behavior. Like at this point, it's pretty predictable. 151 had Prismatic is going through a lot of things. 151 went through, so it's just like pretty obvious what's gonna happen. These more scarce or high valued items are going to be worth more. Ton of Prismatic packs are being sold. So the number of packs sold yesterday was 355. Today sold 166 when you add it up. You won't see in the graph, but if you look at the data, it is quite a bit. So people buying up the cheap packs. because yeah, packs are pretty cheap right now, and it's a lot easier to breaking down the Lucario boxes. Some people just need a bunch of packs, and it really is a lot of work to break down those boxes and throw it all out. So it's kind of worth the extra like time just to get loose packs sometimes. For prismatic bundles, yeah, still seeing no sales since the big buyout on September 1st, and yeah, still around the same price. Maintenance displays, yeah, I feel like if you could get these are also possibly a good pickup. Not as good as like the SPC, still pretty good pickup. I think these will continue to drop a little bit. These are around 200 now. And then Lucario boxes, yeah, sold 8 yesterday. Tend to say not demand isn't too crazy. Prices will probably go up at some point as Lester's Mag is printed, and they'll print more. It'll go up and down again. This will be a normal cycle. So if you don't want the bumpy journey, you'll probably want to get the more scarcer things before they go out prints. Like technically, Prismatic still is only like 9 months old or 9 months old ish. So there's still a little bit of time. But yeah, you want to save yourself if you want to save yourself some effort, like this is what you do. The price per pack, because I look at this every day. Super premium has gone a little away, but ETBs are still pretty affordable, and it kind of depends what you can get. Kind of depends on the restock and reprint. So you just kind of want to be a little aware of those and be aware of the prices, and then get the things when they're kind of cheap, because people do kind of fire sell them a little bit just to reclaim capital. All right, Crown Zenith, you see ETBs rise by $2, Sea and Sky up $1. So Sea and Sky is slowly starting to rise. The momentum's like super big or anything, but you see four sold today, four sold today, three sold yesterday, and yeah, I do see the price starts to kind of just start rising. JM Secrets is now 185. So honestly, they always have tried to mess this up for us. I guess it keeps the price low, but yeah, just I can see the dollar amount slowly rising. This is 181, this is 185, this is 190 over here. So everyone knows that the price per pack is still pretty good. I don't track the other products. Maybe the price per pack is good for them, but definitely cheaper than loose packs right now. Loose packs, they did go down like 50 cents. There was enough quantity. There's about 30 packs there. Otherwise, they're back about $14. Only about how many is that? That's about 23 sold yesterday. Um, ETBs, they are still selling pretty well, still selling pretty consistently. Seeing some similar patterns to Paldean Fates where demand is pretty solid and then the price has been rising. So five sold yesterday, three sold today, and just looking at this, there's this big jump over here to 238. There's only three under that. So we do have that big jump, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we just jump quite a bit more, because Crown Zenith is still a little undervalued right now. And then Booster Bundle sold 0 yesterday, and still two of them around 113, heading toward still 115, but not quite there yet. And then the PCTBs are still a cheaper one available at about 427. Otherwise, it goes back to about 460. There was one sold a few days ago for 460, but yeah, the cheaper one still hasn't been bought in yet. All right, Mega Evolution, we see that enhanced boxes are down about $3, cases are down about $6. Let's look at demand numbers. So hasn't really been a big price increases or anything, but 37 sold yesterday, so it's still alright demand. But yeah, I just think a lot of people are desperate for capital right now, and so the price isn't necessarily going to go up for a little bit unless it's a huge buyout. Just too many people wanting to offload, even with a limited number of sellers on TCG Player. They just need the money, and they're willing to settle for this price, especially when things tend to go down in release anyway. Rudy has mentioned this sort of buying activity opportunity where things will just get cheaper, and then 13 of these non-enhanced box sold yesterday, which is pretty good, and people still buy these because they think that there'll be some value, even though they're not really guaranteed a non-enhanced box. Mega Evolutions ETBs sold around 37 yesterday. It's pretty normalish, still around $100. PCC ETB still around $400, and one sold yesterday. And Juju Train is now the only seller left again. Bundles are selling for quite a bit. There's about 65 to 70 bundles sold, so around the same price. And then cases went down a little bit, but cases are still selling a bunch, so 5 sold yesterday. And yeah, if you want to get Mega Evolutions, it's just the cheapest option right now. Alright, for Final Fantasy, collector box cases down $5. Mega packs up $3, so we're back in the 140s. They're at 141 now. And play box cases dropped a bunch, dropped down 40. They just always want to maintain some difference between the play boxes and the cases price per pack wise. And then Final Fantasy, box demand has been really dropping. So I noticed this yesterday, but only 6 sold yesterday, 3 sold the day before. So we're starting to see some lower numbers for the first time in a while. Before this, like we were seeing very consistent demand, and I think it just hasn't really listed these. It's a little harder to tell, but like I can kind of tell like if this continues over here, we're gonna be in maybe some sort of slowdown or whatever. But it's only been 2 days. But yeah, if we get back down towards at least double digits, even low double digits, that'll be pretty good. For cases, yeah, still no sales. People are not buying these even at 8,300. Still quite a bit on the market. Loose packs, so 127. So loose pack demand did go up. So 29 so yesterday, so that's still a good sign. Ultimately, a lot of this is geared toward just the gambling aspect, wanting open loose packs, or people just wanting one or a couple for their collection. Um, and so this is still maintained pretty well. For mega packs, these are also rising. Um, Sold 9 yesterday, pretty good, and they're heading back to our 144, 146. So these are rising back up. Japanese boxes are selling more consistently lately. So 3 sold yesterday, 2 sold today, and the price has been maintaining. So I don't know, these could reverse a little bit eventually. Play boxes still at 240, and 18 sold yesterday. Yeah, this one actually is 240, 260. Yeah, that's 255. Still around 260. Maybe 265. Playbox cases, yeah, still have a nice sale. Someone listed a cheaper one. Yeah, people just are resistant at 1400 price points. Gift bundles are still doing well around 210, selling about 7, and it's still pretty good. And I don't know, they could. There's not really a huge price ladder or anything, but yeah, these have performed pretty well. Spiderman collector down to 845. I think it's down. I think it was like 860 or something, 870 something yesterday. But the demand of this has been going up as, yeah, sellers have to sell the stuff, so they just need the capsule and they're selling for cheaper. And then same thing with Spider-Man. Play boxes, demand is going up, but the prices aren't necessarily going up, so it's not the worst time to buy, but I know sometimes release will probably be a little cheaper, like right around release. Black Bull White Flare demand number, so Black Bull ETP is back to about 85, 86. Still selling at about 19 per day. Yeah, I'm seeing talking to some sellers, Black Bull seems really be the winner. I talked to some people who said like all they had to offer is really like White Flare, like they're trying to get rid of some White Flare ETBs, but not Black Bolts. And also, someone said, oh yeah, like they try to get another seller for bundles or whatever, and all the Black Bolts sold out. All right, for PCTBs, they're about 200 now, and yeah, we suddenly see a big rise. 14 sold yesterday, 4 sold today. And yeah, I started seeing this yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, these are going to 200, and especially the Black Bolt ones heading toward 210. So honestly, these might go on for a little bit of run because people do like the Black Bolt set to some extent, and it's not too expensive for a PC to be like compared to some other ones. It's really not that bad. Booster bundles are still selling pretty well, about 55. So this is what gives me a little confidence in the set. The fact that bundles are selling so well, still even after release. Even the price has actually gone up back to 50, and people don't really care. For binders, they sold about 6 yesterday, kind of normal, still around the same price as bundles. Posters still around $30, and they sold about 5 yesterday. For White Flare ETBs, they're still around $80. They sold about 24 yesterday. Still the less desired set, but still staying strong around, I guess, 80 or staying consistent. PCTBs have risen quite a bit as well, so up to about 197. So they're actually the same price about the Black Blue PCTBs. Big Bow 22 sold yesterday, 4 sold today. So these are also on a run. And I think honestly, such a PCTBs, people are starting to value them more. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Black Bolt still pulls ahead later on. Bundles sold actually less yesterday, so it's kind of concerning. Only 33 sold, down from about 80. It's similar to Black Bolt's numbers, but yeah, the price is going up and people are starting to buy a little less of it. And then White Flare binders, they sold about 5 yesterday. Still pretty cheap, to be honest. All right, joining together, you're seeing the PCTB drops back to 165 after going up to 180. Everything else stayed about the same. So the PCTB is over here at 165. So you still see 2 sold yesterday, 2 sold today, and there's only like one seller, and it goes back to pretty much the same price before. It's nothing too much to worry about. It's still going toward like $200 over here. It's not really that far away. For booster boxes, still at the lower price of like 227. This really is the cheapest booster box you can get, so it's quite impressive. So 2 sold yesterday, and it just kind of has to rise eventually. But now people are trying to offload some stuff. RJ Breaks has been disrupting the market a lot by just listing a bunch of cheap stuff. But people will just buy this eventually just for the price point. But it is safer definitely to get like Scarlet base or something because like that's around the same price. But locally it'd be hard to find. For this other box, sold 6 yesterday. It's kind of surprising. So the more expensive box sold a bunch, around the 240 range. And so this also helps trading together because people are buying up some of the boxes at a higher price. So that does help. It's um, cases are also selling a little more. You see one case sold today and one case sold 2 days ago. So usually there hasn't been a lot of case demand, and so people were buying up the cases because cases are around the same price. And Joy Together being the cheapest booster box, like this is like, for some people this is like a no-brainer buy, because if you notice the new pattern is that cases are kind of at a premium, and the main times you can get cases is at release time, and after that like it's kind of hard to get cases. So if cases are the same price and this cheapest booster box, it's like it's most likely just gonna go up except for reprints. But you're kind of betting that everything goes down. But it's still a little more riskier because Turn Trigger is still relatively new. But this is definitely a play for some people. And another case hasn't been selling because it's just too expensive. That wraps things up for this video. I hope you walked away with a better understanding of the market. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more deep dives in the Pokemon market. Tell me what's the next big investment you're considering in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.